Reporting from Jerusalem for endtimes.com, this is Brian Schrauger. It is no secret that anti-Semitism is exploding around the world, especially in the West, including the United States of America. As one recent article put it, the anti-Semitic genie that for many years remained restrained, existing under the surface, has now been released, and with catastrophic consequences. From all sides of the ideological spectrum, left to right, conservative to liberal, secular to religious, Islamic to Christian, pundits, politicians, publishers, and preachers are pushing narratives that accuse the Jews of nefarious conduct. With almost countless variations and sugarcoating, what follows is a sample of how anti-Semitism sounds in today's world. The Jews control global financial markets, own Hollywood, and secretly run the USA. In fact, they covertly control the world. The Jews killed Yeshua, Jesus. They killed God. Today, they're trying to kill Christianity. All that God promised the Jews was lost when they killed Christ. They get to keep all the curses, but as for the promises, all of them now belong to the church and the church alone. If the Jews want in, they must convert and join the church. By the way, this is called replacement theology. The Jews hate non-Jews so much, they cannibalize them. In fact, they secretly sacrifice children, draining their blood as an ingredient for matzah, unleavened bread, on Passover. The Jews are a conspiratorial fifth column in every country, every business, every institution. They're not loyal citizens, neighbors, or partners. Their only loyalty is to themselves. Accordingly, from the Black Death to COVID, every outbreak of every plague, every virus comes from the Jews. The Jews are thoroughly evil, partnering with Satan. They're his hidden hand, promoting communism, totalitarianism, and chaos as various means to control the world. The Jews lie about the Holocaust. They lie about persecutions against them throughout history. The Jews today are not real Jews. They're converts to Judaism from the 6th century. Because they're not real Jews, they have no claim to biblical promises or protection. Pretty sickening stuff. Where do these twisted beliefs come from? Why do they keep coming back into the world with so much persuasion and passion? Let's begin with one hugely significant flaw common to every anti-Semitic trope, every accusation. That common flaw is called conflation. Conflation is taking the conduct of one person or group and blowing it up as the conduct of, say, all Americans, all Germans, all Japanese, all Vietnamese, all members of any ethnic group, all people with certain physical characteristics like skin color, all members of a different religion. And in the case of anti-Semitic conflation, all Jews. Whenever you hear a sentence that begins with the Jews, all Jews, or just Jews, raise your shield. You're probably about to be hit with a conflated anti-Semitic trope. For example, Jews control Hollywood. Jews control finance. Both of these are examples of conflation and conspiracy. Yes, some Jews have been successful in Hollywood. Some have been very successful in finance, but not all Jews. Are you aware that 17.7% of all Jews in Israel live in poverty? That's almost 8% more than the 11% of poverty-stricken Americans. To the degree Hollywood and banking have had a higher percentage of successful Jews, it's almost entirely because finance and entertainment were deemed unseemly and inappropriate by Christian nations in the West. Jews were not allowed to become skilled craftsmen or engage in regular commerce. The feeling was, so let them wallow in the muck of finance and entertainment. So, conflating the behavior of a few who are Jewish as descriptive of all Jews is common to virtually every anti-Semitic accusation. At the same time, however, it is entirely valid to recognize various cultural beliefs and personality traits, if you will. Just like people, different cultures approach and perceive life in unique ways and with a whole variety of priorities. On the one hand, it is entirely valid to analyze different belief systems, especially the degree to which they measure up against biblical revelation. This easily turns racist, however, when we turn our analyses into value judgments against an entire people, demonizing them while exalting ourselves. What? Are we so pure, so blameless? The words of Jesus' brother James come to mind. When we do this, when we categorically condemn, when we demonize other individuals or ethnic or political or religious groups, we're like a person who looks at himself in the mirror, but after stepping away, immediately forgets their own glaring failures and flaws. It is no accident, then, that in his very next sentence, James writes, "If anyone thinks himself to be religious, but deceiving their own heart does not bridle their tongue, that person's religion is worthless." So, recognition of various cultural beliefs and personality traits are entirely valid. The problem is using the shortcomings and errors of different beliefs, of different ways of life, to demonize an entire people group and exalt ourselves. This is evil. It's also another dynamic that feeds today's frenzy of local, national, and international anti-Semitism. The sins of a few Jews are conflated to represent all Jews, demonizing them, hiding our own sins behind them, and exalting ourselves, our people, as morally superior. But why is anti-Jew hatred so persistent throughout history? Why does it regularly resurrect, as is happening today? More on this in just a minute. First, we need to acknowledge today's official definition of anti-Semitism. In 2016, the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, the IHRA, settled on a definition that has been adopted by 46 nations around the world. Here it is. Anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred toward Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed toward Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, toward Jewish community institutions and religious facilities. You can find this definition at the IHRA website. Note that it also includes 11 ways anti-Semitism appears today in public life, the media, schools, the workplace, and religious spheres. But why? If you are not yet a subscriber to endtimes.com and would like to see the rest of this important report and others like it, I urge you, subscribe right now at the website endtimes.com. For only $7 a month, you will receive a wealth of information and insight from Jimmy Evans, Mark Hitchcock, and experts from around the world, including Israelis living right here in the Jewish state. Do yourself a favor. Sign up today.